All right, week 3 SEC quarterback preview. Going to preview every SEC quarterback, some more than others. Actually, we're not going to talk about Blake Shapen versus Alcorn State. We don't do FCS previews here. We got 5 main games we're going to do a deep dive on, but we're going to touch on every quarterback besides Blake Shapen and Alcorn State. This is our second week doing this SEC QB preview, so we're going to keep this train rolling. So let's go ahead and get it started. Let's go Georgia versus Tennessee, right? Let's go Gunnar Stockton, Joey Aguilar. It's the first real test for both quarterbacks, maybe for both actual quarterbacks in their not their entire career, because they've gotten some tests before, but the first test this season for them. You can say Aguilar had a test against Syracuse, but I don't think Syracuse is that good, and Syracuse is nothing like the Georgia defense. But let's talk about Stockton first. Let's talk about the 3 keys for success for Stockton. I think the first key is just weather the storm. It's your first big SEC game. If things don't go your way right off the bat, weather the storm. Trust you have the better team. Trust you have the talent and skills around you to help you get through any trouble that could happen at the very start of the game. And how do you get him comfortable? I think that's key number 2. Get his legs going. That's something that's been a staple for him so far. It's been a surprise unless you keep up with Georgia football. You probably don't realize how athletic Stockton actually is. So I want to get him going, get him comfortable. He has 86 total yards on the ground so far, not including sacks. Again, the competition hasn't been great, but he's still been utilizing his legs. He has 4 runs of 10-plus yards. So I want to get him comfy. I want him to use his legs. Then maybe throw some, get some passes off rollouts, get him utilizing his legs in the passing game as well. But I want to get him running, get him going first, get those first hits out of the way. Last key. I need to make enough throws and completions to keep drives alive. Third down, just keep drives alive. Keep your offense on the field. Keep your defense off the field here. Keep them fresh. Slow down the game, especially early on. Get a feel for the defense and get you in a rhythm, get you in a comfortable groove. My main question here with Stockton is he going to have to hit in a deep shot to win? He only has 1 deep completion, so only 1 completion of the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield. They haven't needed any in the past, the past 2 games. But that's going to be my main question. Will they need a deep shot to win? Will they need Stockton to complete a ball downfield to win the game, to keep him in the game? Also, how will he do under pressure? Only 8 of his 58 attempts so far has been under pressure. Tennessee's probably going to get a little more pressure than the first teams that they played, right? So how will he do under pressure? I think there's some question marks, but I think the main 3 keys, whatever that storm looks like, if there's a storm, utilize your legs to get comfy and make enough throws and completions to keep drives alive. That's going to keep you in the game. Now the question is, does he need some deep balls, need some deep completions to win the game, and how will he do under pressure? If you're Tennessee's defense, what are you trying to do to Stockton? How are you trying to slow him down? I'm trying to make him beat me deep. He hasn't shown that so far in his career, right? Now, it's only been a few starts, including last year too, but I'm going to make him beat me deep. I'm going to sell out to stop the run. I'll have a spy on Stockton, whatever we think we need to do to eliminate him running the ball and try to eliminate the running backs running the ball. I want to take his legs away. I want him to beat me deep. Can he make those deep throws? Will he have to make those deep throws? If he does and they win, great, but we haven't seen it yet. So on the defense, I want to take away the run. I want to try to confuse him from pre-snap to post-snap. They had 5 sacks, or Tennessee had 5 sacks against Syracuse. Very good up front. I want to try to confuse him a bit, get him to slow down the processing information, or get him to slow down the processing part of his game. Think a little too much, and hopefully you can get some pressure. So Tennessee defense, go beat me deep. To beat me, you're going to have to beat me deep. That's the mindset from the Tennessee defense. I'm going to give you the deep ball. Go ahead and complete it. But I'm taking away the run, right? That's how I'm playing Stockton from the Tennessee defense. Not that anyone cares. If I'm Aguilar, let's go ahead and move on to Tennessee. What are the 3 keys for Joey Aguilar against this Georgia defense? And if I'm the Georgia defense, how am I going to try to slow down, stop, prevent Aguilar from making any big plays here? If I'm Joey Aguilar, I need to find some consistency. I think that's the first thing to beat a Georgia defense. I think you're going to have some consistency. Keep drives alive. Take the easy throws. Don't miss. Don't be inaccurate. Don't throw high. You're going to have to find some consistency. And if you watch Aguilar play before, App State the past few years, you'll know he's kind of a home run thrower, which is great, but his knack has always been be consistent, hit the easy throws. So I think that's the first key. You don't have any interceptions so far, Joey Aguilar, so you want to continue that. You don't want to give Georgia any short field, right? Take the easy throws, find consistency. Key number 2, continue to utilize play action because he's obviously comfortable off of play action. The deep shots are coming off of play action. 68% of his dropbacks are off play action. It's only 2 games, but that's already much higher than what Nico's was last year on his drop back. So they're utilizing play action more to get Aguilar more comfortable, to try to set up some easy type throws, get the defense out of position. His yards per attempt are 9.9 off of play action compared to only 7.6 on a straight drop back. Now, again, this is going to be the toughest defense they're facing. He hasn't seen speed like the Georgia's defense, but I'm still trying to utilize play action to get him comfortable. So the first key, find some consistency. Second key, utilize play action. Third key, utilize your legs. Not necessarily as a runner. Like, you don't have to be a runner against Georgia's defense. That's probably not a great key for success unless you're a Taylon Green type athlete. But you want to be accurate on the run. You want to be able to throw on the run. Utilize your legs to buy some more time if you need it, to let your receivers get open, to let them kind of play backyard football, get open, and push the ball downfield. So you don't have to be a runner, but I think utilizing your legs to help you as a passer is the third key, and to help you escape some pressure throwing the run. If you're Georgia's defense, how are you preparing? How are you playing? How are you trying to stop Joey Aguilar? Well, if I'm the defensive coordinator, if I'm the defensive players, I know for a fact you haven't seen speed like the Georgia defense. You haven't seen speed like what I have. You haven't seen speed like how we're going to present it to you. So I'm glad you had success against Syracuse. I'm glad you did some stuff well at App State. But my thought is good luck running from this. Good luck being able to to read this speed here. We're going to find ways to get pressure. Georgia always seems to find ways to to cause some chaos. And as opposed to blitzing, I'm hoping I can win one-on-ones. I'm hoping I can beat your O-line. I'm hoping I can just send 4, drop 7 to confuse you from pre-snap to post-snap. Again, you haven't seen speed like we have, so I'm going to trust that. I'm going to trust that you're not going to be able to adapt to that. I'm going to force you to make big throws downfield. I'm going to force you to have to be, Hendon Hooker type accurate to make throws downfield. So again, Georgia defense, I'm leaning into my speed. I'm leaning into the fact you haven't seen speed like this. I'm going to trust that you can adapt to it. And if you're Aguilar, go beat him. Go adapt to it, right? So those are the main keys. 3 keys for Joey Aguilar, 3 keys for Gunnar Stockton. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about Stockton and Aguilar, about the defenses. Let us know who you think has the advantage from the quarterback perspective. I think you can make an argument. But let us know your thoughts and let us know your keys for each quarterback and each defense. All right, let's go ahead and go to Marcel Reed. 3 keys from Marcel Reed, 3 keys from Marcel Reed against Notre Dame this upcoming weekend. One of the more intriguing games of the whole weekend. If you're an Aggie, that's obviously one of the biggest games of the year. Revenge game, whatever you want to call it, as Notre Dame beat y'all last year at home. But what are the 3 or 4 keys for Marcel Reed to have success against Notre Dame? They feel that a Notre Dame defense, what are you trying to do, right? Let's go through the keys for Marcel Reed, then we're going to go through and put on our DC headset for Notre Dame and talk about how we would stop Marcel Reed or try. First key, same key we just talked about for Stockton, weather the storm. It's going to be a great environment. It's going to be loud, on the road. If stuff doesn't go your way at first, it's a long game. So weather the storm, let the storm pass, and then settle in. I think that's the first key, especially going on the road. Weather the storm, if there is a storm. If there's no storm, fantastic. But if there's a storm coming your way, if the defense gets some pressure or if there's a turnover or whatever it may be, just weather that storm. Key number 2, and you haven't had to use this key yet, but demonstrate your athleticism. I don't know if this doesn't win you the game, but I think his athleticism could be the X factor. Almost like when he got put in against LSU last year, there was no plan for it, right? Now, this shouldn't be the center. You have to do a lot of other, there's a lot of other plays and schemes you have to implement to win. But last year, Notre Dame didn't have to prepare for Reed, right? They had Connor Wegman. So I think this is a totally different offense, or at least it should be and could be, with an athlete like Marcel Reed. He's the leading rusher on the team right now. He has 112 yards on the ground, not including sacks. But again, they haven't needed it to win. It's not like it was a center part of the game plan. They utilized it some. He had some scrambles. But I think you may need him to use his legs some to win, especially if it's the fourth quarter, especially if it's tight in the fourth quarter and you need some big runs in a 3rd down or 4th down even. Maybe you have a drive like you have against LSU where all he did was run the ball. I think that could surprise them. I don't know if they're going to be – you're never truly prepared for a quarterback's athleticism until you are actually on the field against them. He has 4 rushes of 10-plus yards or more so far this year. So this is my main key. Like, this could be the X factor right now. He's improved passing, which we're going to get to in a second. He still needs to do that. But his athleticism, I think, could be the X factor, and that could be what separates a win versus a loss versus A&M. So that's the first main key. Besides weathering the storm, demonstrate your athleticism. Third key, Play action. So far, they've utilized play action a bunch more, about 8 or 9% more than they did last year. Only 33% of his dropbacks so far this year have been off of play action. Last year was like 25-ish, I believe. I think we see more play action. I don't think they've shown a bunch yet. I think they've shown enough that they're working on it. They know he's getting more comfortable in play action. I think we see more play action. I think we see some more unique, creative type passes off of the play action game. He showed, I think he showed it against UTSA actually, but he has a play against Arkansas last year. It's a fake quarterback run, 2 steps forward, takes a drop back, opens up downfield. I think we could see some creative passes like that. So far, off of play action, he's 20 of 23. That's 87%, I think. That's what I wrote down. My math isn't good. But 20 of 23, I think 87% completion percentage, 10.6 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, 244 yards passing off of play action. On his straight drop back passes this year, excuse me, he's 21 of 39. Okay, not horrible. 53.8 completion percentage, 265 yards, 6.8 yards per attempt. So his yards per attempt is almost 4 yards higher off of play action. He has one more. Or he's got 3 more. He's only 23 attempts off play action, 39 attempts on straight dropbacks, and he almost has as many yards off of play action. So he's obviously comfortable in play action. So lean into this, utilize play action. Now, Notre Dame's defense is going to know this if I'm some random guy on YouTube talking about this. But still, so what? Use play action. All right, last key, fourth key, utilize and distribute the ball more throughout the entire field. Right, make some throws outside the numbers. He has 509 yards passing so far. Of those 509 yards, 390 yards are between the numbers. So he's kind of living in the middle of the field, which is great. It's not a bad thing. If the defense gives you that, that's what you take. But still, if I'm the defense, if I know that's what he's been utilizing, if I know that's where the completions have been going, I want to take that away. I want to make you pass outside numbers. I want to make you have long throws here, right? So that's the fourth key for me. Utilize and distribute the ball throughout the entire field, especially if Notre Dame takes away the middle of the field. Can you have passes and completions to the sidelines more often here, right? So I think he'll have to utilize the entire field. So far, weather the storm, utilize your athleticism, utilize play action, and then distribute the ball throughout the entire field. Our main keys from Marcel Reed. So if I'm a Notre Dame defense, what am I trying to do? What am I going to do to stop Reed, to slow down Marcel Reed? There's a few things. Number one, I'm trying to take away what he has done so far, right? So far this season, like we just talked about, he has utilized and has been more comfortable throwing the ball in the middle of the field. So I'm probably going to take that away. I'm going to say, hey, beat me. Have some long throws outside. I'm probably not going to blitz much. I'll probably strategically do it. Like I had 1 sack against Miami. If I'm Notre Dame's defense, Reed's an athlete. If I blitz and he gets past me, there's not a lot of defenders to slow him down. So I'm probably going to spy him and try to force him to make a mistake. I'm going to try to force him to beat me outside the numbers, force him to make long throws. I want to try to make him one-dimensional. So if I can take away his legs somehow just by playing prevent and not letting anything big happen, and then he has to beat me deep, right? Or I force him to just be one-dimensional. I force him to just utilize his legs, and I take away all the passing games, right? But if I'm Marcel Reed, if I can make long throws outside the numbers, if I can use my legs and have success, I'm going to win the game. If Notre Dame takes away one of those, I think it's going to be a fight. But those are the main keys for Marcel Reed, right? Weather that storm, utilize your athleticism, utilize play action, distribute the ball outside the numbers, utilize the whole field, and trust that you can do that against Notre Dame's defense. Again, very excited for this game. If you're an Anna fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments below here. What do you think the keys are from Marcel Reed? How do you think Notre Dame could potentially stop Reed in the offense? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below here. All right, let's go ahead and go Florida, LSU. Really excited for this game. If you watched the channel before, we're LSU background, got LSU blood, family that has went to LSU and lives in Louisiana, so we always have a soft spot there. Let's talk about DJ Lagway first. Coming off one of the worst losses that Florida can remember, right? Especially an in-state G5 school. If I'm DJ Lagway, can I bounce back? How do I bounce back? Well, if we recap last week real quick, he had 0 completions where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield. He had the 3rd lowest yards per attempt of any SEC quarterback last week, and he had the lowest QB spotlight rating, our model that generates a rating for whatever that's worth here. But with all that said, there's no bigger way to bounce back than in Death Valley on the road at night if you're DJ Lagway. So let's talk about these 3 keys for DJ Lagway to have success against LSU's defense. Then we'll talk about LSU's defense, what they potentially will do to stop Lagway. Then we'll get into Nuss after that. So how do I bounce back? Well, I think I have to complete the deep ball here, right? If I don't complete the deep ball, if I don't have some shots and completions, it may be a long night. I don't want the defense pressing down on me. I want to show them, hey, my strength is the deep ball. I was the best quarterback, the most accurate quarterback in the SEC last year on balls thrown 20 yards or more downfield. I had an off game last week, no big deal. Let's bounce back. Now, with that said, the play calling needs to help him. It's not just on Lagway. The play calling needs to help him and put him in position, right? But I think you're going to have to complete the deep ball. You're going to have at least 1, 2, maybe 3 explosive plays like that to have success. Key number 2, should you utilize your legs a bit more? I think so, at least right now. Maybe that helps you get you comfortable. Could that get you going? Could using that find ways to help the defense creep in so that deep ball is easier to throw? You know, you haven't showcased the legs that much yet, only 20 yards on the ground, not including sacks. But last year before the injury, we saw him utilize his legs. We saw some packages of some QB run game. So could you get that going? I think that could be a key. I think that could help open up the passing game and give you another dimension, right? Now, I don't know what the injury is, or I don't know anything nagging. Maybe there's a reason why he hasn't yet. You probably didn't think you needed to against South Florida. I get it. But against LSU, I think there could be a path. I'm not saying you run him 15 times, but can you have 3, 4, 5 designed quarterback runs to get the defense out of position? Maybe so. I think it's worth at least considering. In the last key, I think you're going to have to make some big plays in the fourth quarter. I think for them to win, big plays will have to be made, whether it is Florida coming back in the fourth quarter, whether it's Florida up in the fourth quarter and preventing LSU from coming back, or if it's a back and forth game, you have to keep up with LSU. I think you're going to have to make some big plays and some big throws in the fourth quarter. That's kind of like a SEC football. I get it. But those are my main 3 keys for Lagway, how he bounces back. Getting some deep ball completions, utilizing his legs to help with that, making some big plays in the fourth quarter. If I'm LSU's defense, what am I doing against Lagway? Well, I'm dropping 7 or 8 guys. I'm trusting my guys up front to win. They've looked pretty good so far, my front 7. I'm trusting the down 3, the down 4 guys to win. I'm telling DJ to pick us apart. I'm telling him we're going to take away the deep throw. Like I just told DJ Lagway, like you need to hit on some deep throws. If I'm LSU's defense, I'm taking that away. I know that's a strength of yours, even though you didn't hit on it last week. That's a strength of yours. I'm taking that away. I don't care what Billy Napier throws at us. Again, this is LSU's defense. This is the DC talking. I don't care what Napier throws at us. You're not beating us deep. I'm going to confuse you from pre-snap to post-snap. DJ's yards per attempt so far this year are only 6.5 when the defense doesn't rush. So I'm going to keep doing that until you hurt us. Now, if you have all day to pass, if you start picking us apart, I'll change that. But for right now, I want to sit 7 guys back, maybe even 8 at times, and force Lagway to pick us apart, force Napier to have designs and offensive schemes to get us out of position. That is the keys if I'm the LSU defense. So Florida fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you want to see from Lagway? What do you think the bounce back opportunity or the bounce back pathway is for DJ Lagway against LSU? Let me know your keys in the comments below. All right, Garrett Nussmeier. 3 keys for Nussmeier against Florida, and then we'll put our mindset in the Florida DC mindset and talk about what Florida could do to stop Garrett Nussmeier here. So if I'm Nussmeier, and I know LSU fans have talked about this a lot, hopefully the offensive playbook opens up some more. The first few games, it's been, pretty tightly bound, right? Even against Clemson, they didn't showcase much. La Tech was a frustrating game if you're an LSU fan. Obviously, you won 23-7 or whatever, but you were hoping that was going to be 46-10, right? 46-7. But even with Florida's struggles, it will be nice for LSU and the offense to open up. Hopefully so they win by a comfortable position, or so they just win in general. You may have to open up the playbook to win in general. So what are the keys to that? Well, kind of like DJ Lagway, I want to see Nuss complete on the deep ball. He's only 2 of 10 so far this season on balls throwing 20 yards or more downfield. He was second in the SEC last year on those type of throws as it relates to completion. So can it show up here? Can you win by not pushing the ball downfield this weekend against Florida? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But I think taking some deep shots would definitely help. It would at least threaten the defense. It would at least have them considering that the ball is being pushed downfield and open up underneath throws. So far, he's only he was 5.9 yards per attempt so far, Nussmeier is. 6.1 against Clemson, 5.8 against La Tech. I want to see that number be 8, 9, 10. I want some deep shots this week against Florida. Key number 2. Let's get some play action going. I think this could go hand in hand with pushing the ball downfield. Only 16.9% of my dropbacks have been off of play action. Now, I'm not saying you have to be like Tennessee and have 60+% of your dropbacks, but man, can you get 25? Can you get 30% of your dropbacks? This could help push the ball downfield. Let's just try it out. Let's utilize play action. That gets defenses out of position. You haven't done it so far. Maybe you haven't need to showcase it so far, but I think it's worth trying out. And the last key, moving in the pocket with some design rollouts, but also trusting what Nuss does really well, and that's adapting the pocket, footwork in the pocket. So accuracy on the move. He's very good at this. If Florida gets pressure, keep your eyes downfield, maneuver in the pocket, or roll out and throw some successful throws outside the run. Again, he's good at moving in the pocket, but I would utilize some design rollouts here, which we saw against Clemson some. So the keys for Nuss, complete on some deep balls. Let's get some play action going and see if that helps, and then move in the pocket and have some design rollouts here. So if I'm Florida's defense, what am I doing to stop Nuss? What am I doing to stop Nussmeier? I want to find a way to get pressure. Just find a way to get pressure, whether it's by blitzing, whether it's by stunning up front. Just find a way to get pressure. I think that's how you disrupt Nussmeier here. I want to have Texas A&M 2.0. I want to have a pick. I want that pick to lead to another pick. I want to have that snowball effect if I'm Florida's defense, right? Alabama, A&M 2.0, Alabama from last year, whatever you want to call it. If you can do that, and I think it may be hard because I think Nuss has taken those steps forward to prevent the snowball effect, but if you can do that, then I think that you have a shot here, right? So I'm Florida's defense is find a way to get pressure regardless what that looks like and see if you can have Nuss have a snowball effect here because he really isn't a threat to run. So you can sing guys if you want to. I think you can be a little more creative knowing that the quarterback can't beat you with his legs. And if he picks you apart, then you have to adapt, right? But if I'm Nussmeier, I'm like, come on, bring it on. Bring some pressure to me. Dare me to pick you apart, right? I'm still Garrett Nussmeier. I'm still one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I'm going to be the best quarterback in the league by the end of the season. That's my mindset if I'm Garrett Nussmeier here. But LSU fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you want to see from Nussmeier? What are your main keys, your main takeaways for success for Garrett Nussmeier against Florida here? All right, let's go ahead and move on. I should have brought some water. Unfortunately, I did not. So, all right, let's keep it going. Okay, let's go Arkansas, Ole Miss. Let's talk about Taylon Green first, and then we'll talk about Austin Simmons. But Taylon Green, what are 3 or 4 keys that Green needs to do to have success against Ole Miss here? Well, last year, this was probably Arkansas's worst game last year. They lost 63-30. I mean, I think that the score was even worse than what the final score was worse than what the actual game was. This was one of Green's worst games last year, right? There was really nothing going on here. So first key, you cannot have turnovers. I truly believe that against Ole Miss, you cannot have turnovers. Even though their quarterbacks had some turnovers, we're going to get to him in a second. You cannot have turnovers. Even if you have highlight plays, to beat Ole Miss, take care of the ball. You had 2 interceptions last week. You're going to have to avoid that. That's the first key. Avoid turnovers, take care of the ball, right? Key number 2, I think make the easy throws. We know you can hit the home runs with your legs and with your arms. Make the easy throws, check downs, convert on third downs, whatever those easy throws are. Trust the system. Petrino's going to scheme open guys. Trust him to scheme open guys. And get the ball out. Get the ball out quickly. We've talked about this on Green last year. Last year, he, I think, was one of the bottom 2 or 3 quarterbacks as it relates to holding on to the ball too long. So get rid of the ball quickly here and convert on third downs and make the easy throws, right? Make the easy throws. Key number 3, something that he's good at, and he's good at a lot of things, accuracy on the run. If I have to use an example, like if you watch Oklahoma against Michigan last week, some John Mateer type throws that he did a perfect job being accurate on the run. Last year, Green to Tesla against A&M, escaping pressure, throwing the ball deep, on the run, accurate, ends up being a touchdown. So accuracy on the run here, especially if Ole Miss's defense can get some pressure to you, right? And the last key is legs. Utilize your legs. You had 151 yards on the ground against Arkansas State last week. You had 5 10-plus yard runs last week. So be strategic running the ball, but I think in big situations, utilize your legs, utilize the ground game here. Notice I didn't say anything about deep ball completions. Those would be nice, but I don't think that's a fact. I don't think you have to have deep ball completions against Ole Miss to win. I think if you don't turn the ball over, if you make easy throws, if you are accurate on the run to slow down their pass rush, and if you utilize Taylon Green's legs, his ability as a runner, I think that's a chance, that's a recipe for success, right? Now, there's a lot more keys to win than just 3 or 4 keys, but that's a recipe for success. So if I'm Ole Miss's defense, what am I trying to do to stop Taylor Green? What am I trying to do to slow him down, to make sure he doesn't have any big home run plays? Well, I want to sit back and force him to make a mistake. If I'm Ole Miss, I'm trusting that Green's going to make a mistake. That's my mindset. I'm the DC for Ole Miss, whoever that is. I want to get him to be impatient. Can I get pressure with 4 guys? Can I just send 4 guys, 3 guys at times, and get pressure and drop 7, drop 8, and force him to process the whole defense and force him to make these reads? My thinking and their thinking is yeah, let's see what happens there. Let's only bring 3 or 4 guys, maybe a blitz here and there to confuse him, and let's see if he can make a mistake. And if he doesn't, if Green picks you apart, if Green is making those easy throws, if Green is utilizing his legs, then you adapt, then you change. But right now, I want to see if Green will beat himself. If I'm the Ole Miss defense, I know he's talented. I know he's got a high ceiling. So as opposed to me trying to beat him, let's see if he'll beat himself. Let's see if he'll miss some of these open throws that he's done in the past. Let's see if he'll make a mistake, give us a freebie, and let's go from there. And if he doesn't, then we'll adapt and change. And if I'm Taylor Green, I'm like, bet, I've gotten better. I'm going to make these easy throws. I'll kill you with my legs. I'll do what I need to do to win the game. So that's the mindset. Those are the keys for Green, in my opinion. Those are, and if I'm the Ole Miss defense, that's how I'm attacking Taylor Green. But if you're an Arkansas fan, let me know your thoughts. What do you think the keys are for Green? What do you think the defense for Ole Miss could try to do to stop you if you're an Arkansas fan? Give me your thoughts on Green in the comments below. Let's go ahead and move on to Austin Simmons. Ole Miss quarterback, 3 keys for Austin Simmons. Excuse me. I should have got some water. I had no water doing this. What are the keys for Austin Simmons against Arkansas's defense, and how could Arkansas's defense stop Austin Simmons? So Austin Simmons coming in a little banged up, got injured at the end of the game against Kentucky. Doesn't seem to be too serious according to reports. He should be good to go. But if I'm Austin Simmons, what are the keys? Well, the first key is just like Taylor Green. No turnovers. Don't give Arkansas an opportunity to stay in the game. He's had 2 interceptions in both of his games so far this year. So he has 4 picks so far. Georgia State in game 1, and then Kentucky in week 2. Now, he did bounce back and actually played fairly well after those interceptions against Kentucky. He bounced back. I thought he showed good ability to adapt and overcome a bad situation. But don't let Arkansas stay in the game or give them opportunity. How you give them opportunity is giving them free possessions. So don't turn the ball over. That's obvious. That's horrible analysis, right? But I think it's true. Just don't turn the ball over. Key number 2, I want to test Arkansas. I want to test them deep. Test them. This is Arkansas's first real test. FCS and then Arkansas State. And they passed both. They crushed them. This is Arkansas's first real test. If I'm Simmons, I want to push the ball downfield. I would try it early too. Right, I only have 3 of these type of completions so far where the ball is thrown 20 yards or more downfield. But I would try it early. I would see if we can jump on the scoreboard quick. I want to test that defense. I want to see how those defensive backs react. I want to see if Lane Kiffin can get some guys out of position and hit on a deep throw. Last key, hit on the easy throws as well. It's kind of just like Taylor Green's setup, very similar to Taylor Green's keys. But I want to hit on these easy throws as well. He's been inaccurate at times. His adjusted completion percentage against Kentucky was, 50? Only 56? So, yes, I do want to hit the deep ball, but despite that being a key, I need to take what the defense gives me. I don't need to force anything. I need to make the easy throws and trust Kiffin to scheme open receivers. It's kind of similar keys for both Simmons and Taylor Green. But if I'm Arkansas's defense, how am I going to stop Simmons? How would I want to confuse him? Well, pre-snap to post-snap look. This is only your 3rd start in the SEC, right? I want to try to show you one thing pre-snap and something totally different post-up. I'm trying to confuse you. I'm also trying to get pressure and see how healthy you really are. I see the reports. I see that you're good to go. But let's see if you can move around a little bit. Let's see if I can get some pressure on you. Let's see if maybe you're thinking about it. Let's see if I can get you to get rid of the ball too quickly or hold on to the ball too long because you're thinking about it, right? Now, I want to do this strategically because, Lane has a knack of knowing when the defense is blitzing and figuring that out and being able to strike when they do. I still would want to test and see how healthy and if he can move around, and maybe I can make him make a pick. Just like Ole Miss's defense is trying to force Green to make a mistake. I'm trying to do the same thing if I'm Arkansas's defense and force Simmons to make a mistake here. So if you're an Ole Miss fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments below here. What do you think Simmons needs to do to have success? What do you think Arkansas's defense can potentially do to slow Simmons down? All right, let's move on. We got one more big game left, and then we'll touch on the rest of the week besides the FCS opponents. So let's go Lenore Sellers and Diego Pavia. Let's talk about Lenore Sellers. 3 keys for success for Lenore Sellers against Vanderbilt this upcoming weekend. So last year against Vandy, Lenore Sellers was 14 of 20 for 238 yards passing, 11.9 yards per attempt, had some good balls downfield, or had one real good ball downfield, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Only 38 yards on the ground, didn't have any rushing attempt over 10 yards. So they slowed him down a bit last year. So how do you beat Vanderbilt this year? What I think is you repeat last year and then some. So we'll talk about what that means. We'll talk about how you can repeat it and then some here. So key number 1, something we've talked about Sellers a lot before, success against the blitz. How much is Vandy going to blitz? I don't know, but when they do, can you hurt them against the blitz like you did last year? On 30% of Sellers' dropbacks last year against Vandy, Vanderbilt chose to blitz. He was 6 of 7 on those plays, 63 yards, a TD versus the blitz last year. So he made them pay when they did. They didn't blitz a ton. I think they watched the film versus A&M and they saw him have success. They didn't blitz a ton, but when they did, he had success and made them, and then hurt them last year, made them pay. Key number 2. They only had 2 deep shots last year against Vandy. They were 1 of 2 on balls thrown 20 yards or more downfield. But if I'm South Carolina's offense, if my quarterback is North Sellers was the second most accurate quarterback last year in the SEC on balls thrown 20 yards or more downfield. So I want to see if I can get some momentum early. I want to see if I can take a deep shot early. I have the games at home. I want to get some momentum. If I hit on a deep ball early, if I get Nick Harbor streaking down the field or whoever streaking down the field and hit them early, I want to see if I can gain that momentum last year. I'm accurate. I want a few more deep passes than last year. And then you haven't really needed any deep balls. You had, 1 against Vatech, if I remember correctly. I think one completion. So I want to see if I can get 2 or 3 of those against Vandy here. Then key number 3, this is what I mean when I say repeat last year and then some. I want to spread the ball out and cover the whole field. 151 of Sellers' 238 yards last year were outside the numbers. So it means he was spreading the ball out. Vandy had to defend the entire field. So I think this can open up other offensive schemes, other offensive throws. So I want to force Vandy to defend the entire field. If I can do that, it's going to open up the run game for him. Notice I didn't even talk about Sellers' legs and athleticism. That's always a key. That's always the X factor. So imagine if I have success against the blitz, if I hit 1, 2, 3 deep shots against Vandy, that's key number 2. Key number 3, if I spread the ball out and force Vandy to defend the entire field, I can use my legs much easier than I can if I don't have all those keys. So those are the main keys for Sellers here. Success against the blitz, make them pay when they do. Hit on a deep pass or 2 or 3. No, I'm getting greedy. And then spread the ball out here. So I'm Vandy's defense. How am I going to slow down? How do I want to stop the North Sellers? Well, I want to do what I did against Drones last week in the second half. Can I repeat that? I probably can't slow down Sellers like I can slow down Drones. Sellers is a much better quarterback, but the game plan, can I still do that? Sellers can be loose with the ball at times in the pocket, right? Can I get some pressure? Can I force him to get careless with the ball? I don't have to stop Sellers. I just have to slow him down, prevent the big plays. So if I'm Vandy's defense, I'm not going in trying to shut down anything from Sellers. I'm just trying to slow him down. If I can slow him down, and prevent them from scoring or scoring touchdowns, then I think I have a much better chance. So if I'm Vandy's defense, slow Sellers down. Don't think you have to stop every single play. Slow him down and see if you can get loose in the pocket here and frustrate him. If I'm Diego Pavia, what am I trying to do? Well, before we get to Pavia, South Carolina fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think the keys are for Lenore Sellers against Vanderbilt's defense? What do you think Vanderbilt could throw at you to slow down Sellers? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Obviously, we only talked about 3 or 4 keys. There's a lot more keys than that. All right, Diego Pavia, what am I trying to do quickly against South Carolina's defense? I'm going to play my game. What's my game? I'm going to adapt to the defense throws at me. I'm going to utilize my legs and hopefully hit on some deep shots. I want to repeat what I did against Vatech. Now, South Carolina's defense is better, but still, Vatech's defense isn't horrible by any means. I think they're a fairly good defense. They slowed down Sellers, right? So I'm trying to repeat what I did against Vatech. I want to hit on a deep shot. Last week, Pavia had 3 completions where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield. That was second in the SEC for any quarterback. So I want to try to repeat that, and then, of course, use my legs. To win most games, I'm going to have to use my legs if I'm Diego Pavia. The South Carolina defense, what am I doing to slow down Pavia? Exactly what I did last year. I want to repeat that. I'm going to give him the underneath stuff, and I'm going to force him to finish drives. Can you drive consistently down the field, series after series, play after play? I want to do I want to force him to beat me. If he gets one good drive, that's great. That's 7 points. Can you do it again and again and again, right? So I'm forcing Pavia to drive down the field over and over again. Let's quickly talk about Ty Simpson against Wisconsin. He had a great bounce-back game versus ULM, but ULM is terrible. But still, it was nice to see that. He was 17 of 17. He did exactly what you wanted to see. So what are the 3 keys for Simpson against Wisconsin? I think the first key, I want to take a shot early. I want to get some momentum going. It's at home. Let's get some momentum going here. Let's take a shot early. Let's get it going here. Key number 2, I want to get the ball out on time, and I want to trust my progressions, trust my read, right? That was something he struggled with against Florida State. People that were there kept talking about he was throwing to the right guy. He was just late. He was just missing when to throw it to him. So go through your progressions, get the ball out on time, and take what the defense gives you, trust your reads. And key number 3, continue mistake-free football. That's been a positive. Even against Florida State, you didn't have any picks. So despite struggling against Florida State and then having success against ULM, there have been no interceptions yet. Keep that way. Don't allow Wisconsin to have any type of life. And if I'm Wisconsin, I'm trying to sell out. I'm trying to confuse Simpson. I'm trying to copy what Florida State did. I'm trying to get him to second guess himself. I'm trying to get him to be late with the pass, to hold on the ball too long, and see if he actually has adjusted and gotten better. And if he adjusted and if he's gotten better, then great. I'll change my defensive system at halftime. But I want to try to confuse him from pre-snap to post-snap and force him to hold on the ball too long or get rid of it too quickly. If you're a Bama fan watching this, let me know what you want to see from Ty Simpson against Wisconsin. All right, real quick. We've hit on Georgia, Tennessee. We've hit on A&M, Notre Dame. We've hit on Florida, LSU, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Vandy, South Carolina, then briefly Ty Simpson against Wisconsin. Those are all main breakdowns. We had 5 main breakdowns, and we talked about Simpson. We're not talking about Mississippi State and Alcorn State. Let's briefly talk about the rest of the SEC. Okay, UTEP and Texas. What do you want to see from Arch Manning against UTEP? Continued development and consistency the entire game. If you can do what you did against San Jose State, but not be as streaky, and you can do that the entire game, be 45-3 in the third, get out of there. That's what I want to see from Arch Manning against UTEP, right? Just consistency the entire game and continued development. Louisiana against Bo Pribula, I wanted to see Bo be healthy. I want to see him out in the third quarter. I don't think Louisiana's very good this year. I thought they were going to be, then the quarterback got hurt. So I just want to see him healthy and get out early. I don't want to see anything too much. Oklahoma against Temple, the same. Just have Mateer be healthy. Just get him out, be out by the fourth quarter. It's weird it's at Temple. That's kind of a weird structure. But if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I just want to see Mateer be healthy. Don't have a slow start. Just get out in front and just chill. And then let's see 2 more. South Alabama and Auburn here. Same thing. Jackson Arnold. Let's not run him as much against South Alabama, right? Kind of like we did against Ball State. Let's get the passing game going. Let's develop the passing game. Continue to work on it, but do not overlook South Alabama. South Alabama, it's an in-state game. It's going to be like the Super Bowl. They want to upset you. And let's be honest, Auburn has had some upsets the past few years against G5 opponents. So don't let it happen against South Alabama. South Alabama is not bad. I do not think they're bad. I think they got a good coaching staff. They got some good stuff going over at South Alabama. But still, you should win handily. Continue to work on the pass game, but do not overlook South Alabama if I'm Auburn. All right, Eastern Michigan versus Kentucky. I think Eastern Michigan, they lost a pretty bad team this past weekend, if I remember. But is it going to be Calzada, Boley? I don't know. If Calzada's healthy, do you still pull the plug this early? I would give, because I don't know. They haven't looked great offensively with quarterback. But just win. Just beat Eastern Michigan, and hopefully you get better quarterback performance here. Okay, SEC fans, thank you for watching. This has been, 30-something minutes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll have individual videos out as well for these games, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We're going to continue to do the SEC QB previews and recaps. We got some cool stuff coming up. If you are interested, we're partnering with a cool company where we're going to be able to send out quarterback breakdowns and quarterback recaps. So the days after the games, we'll have recaps being sent out via email through a subscription, and then we'll have game recaps. So the videos what I'm just saying on the video, we'll have like a PDF breakdown. It'll look pretty good. It'll look kind of like how when we played in college. It'll look like pretty official, and we'll give like the keys for each quarterback, the keys for the defense. So if that's of interest, let us know. We'll be getting that going hopefully in the next week or 2. But as always, thanks for watching. We're a big SEC Quarterback Hub. We'll see you next time. Like the video, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It helps us grow. Thanks for watching. Peace.